Hey all, I've gotten a few questions about the weekly assessments, and I just wanted to take a minute to make a couple of comments. And then I'm going to walk through week one assessments and see if that helps with any of that. The first thing, of course, is that to find these weekly assessments, so this is week one in the content tab. You might see something that looks like this. And if you click on this little triangle, it'll pull on down the options. You only choose one of the two assessments. So you can do either Columbus and the Taínos, which is the Native American tribe, or did Montezuma have a zoo, which is rather an interesting assignment. So you do one of the two. You don't have to do both. In fact, if you do both, I'm just going to pick the first one that I see and do that and assess that one. So you only do one of these per week. The other thing I want to mention is that I see these as a feedback or a formative assessment tool. So you're going to complete the assignment, and then I will give you feedback on whether it's good or not. Well, that's not the right way to say it. I will give you feedback about any misconceptions that I see. If there's any misunderstandings, any misconceptions, I'll give you suggestions on how to fix that, and then you can either rework it or you can just accept the grade that I've given you. It's up to you. But you'll always have that opportunity to improve the grade if you're not happy with it. Speaking of the grade, I don't have a rubric for these in the sense that I don't have a checkpoint list about things I'm looking for. What I want you to do is answer the questions to the best of your ability using the sources that I provide. So usually there will be some short sources that you can read. Some of them are a little bit longer than others, which is why I want to give you some options on this. If you're using the sources and when you're writing the answers out, I don't require like a strict MLA format or an APA style. What I wanted, you have to reference the source at some point so that I can see where you're getting the information from. For example, in the Montezuma has a zoo, there's like three primary sources you're going to look at. So you'd say, as you can see in document A, or as you can see in the Mexican author's writing, something like that, just so that I can see that you're referencing the sources. And if you're defending your sources well with if you're defending your argument well with the sources, I generally give full credit on that. And even if you don't get full credit, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get full credit later on. Okay, as for the assignments in week one, we have the Columbus among the Taínos, and did Montezuma have a zoo? So this first one, this Columbus assessment, is going to ask you to read an academic journal. Columbus, of course, we can have a big debate about discovery versus what happened there. But really, the thing that I'm interested in with Columbus is the impact that he had on the indigenous people that he met. So you would download this PDF, and if you can't read the PDF, let me know and we'll figure something out. And with a secondary source, we talk a lot about what's called validity. So I want you to try to figure out who the author is of this source. So it's Robert Poole. So all you have to do is Google Robert Poole and then try to answer these questions about him in only 100, 200 words. It doesn't have to be huge, but who is the author? If you just look at Robert Poole, that doesn't tell us anything. So who is Robert Poole? Google the author. Did they have any advanced degrees? What is their professional job? Have they written any other books or articles? And then try to determine what sort of bias they might have, because we all have a perspective or bias. So how is that going to impact what you're about to read? That's a life skill that I hope we develop. It's actually, I think it's in the instructor's packet as well. The second thing is to actually read the source and just summarize the secondary source. Use the following questions to create that summary, but you don't have to use them specifically. So what I'm interested in is, what's the main idea here? What are the strongest arguments you see? What's something particularly interesting or surprising to you in 300 or 400 words? So that's about a page. The second source is, did Montezuma have a zoo? And I think I'm going to do a second video for that because I'm getting a little close on time here. So I apologize for the loading here. Here we go.